Shalom, shalom. Giving all honor and praise to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Shai. Y'all the backs of the Most High. Come to you on a Wednesday class. Q&A. So, brothers and sisters that's in the comment board, y'all come on through the comments. Just come on, just bring it out, man. Brothers and sisters that's in the room. Brothers got questions. Raise your hand, sister. Y'all got questions. Y'all raise y'all hand. It's gonna be a Q&A tonight. So, any questions, brothers and sisters got, man, y'all bring forth. We go through the scriptures on. Everybody don't say nothing at once. Let's go to since everybody waiting to get a thought or a question in their mind. Go to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 in verse 17. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 verse 17.
Book of Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9 verse 17. Read. And thy counsel who have known, except thou give wisdom.
Read.
And send thy Holy Spirit from above.
Read on.
For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed.
So guess what, man? The Most High God sent his counsel. That means sent his word. And he sent the Spirit on us so we can be able to get his word and start getting understanding about this Bible, man. That's how we can reform and going into, that's how we can be correct. That's how we can be able to see what we do right or wrong, and the scriptures help build on it, right? Read on.
And the men were taught the things that are pleasing unto thee, and were saved through wisdom.
So this is the only thing that's gonna be able to save us, man, out of this captivity. This right here, man. The Most High God putting that Spirit on us, studying to show ourselves approved, reading the scriptures, help build and get built up in these scriptures, man. This is how we get saved through. This is how we get saved in our captivity, man. I know a lot of times, brothers and sisters, we think about this truth, but do we really sit and reflect on what is it required in us in this truth? Do we think about what the Most High God, what's our purpose in this walk? I mean, what is our duty? It's a lot of different administrations in the walk, brothers and sisters. We don't really tap into what the Most High God do. What he wants the job for us. I know when we was guess what? When you was in high school, when you was in grade school, say we was in high school, brothers and sisters like was in high school. Guess what happened in high school? Brothers ran track, they played basketball, they played football, sisters cheerleading, sisters on all different clubs, brothers in different clubs. Guess why you did all those things? You was trying to find your way and your purpose. We get in the truth. Now we don't try to find our way and our purpose. We just here. But guess what? When you was in Esau little stuff, guess what you try to find? You try to do everything above. And it's time for us to start trusting in the Most High, man, and start letting us use our talents, right? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 30, verse 5. Like you say, man, brothers and sisters, you got any questions, man? Hey, feel free to ask the questions because this is a Q&A. Feel free to ask any questions, all questions. You get there, let's read it.
The book of Proverbs chapter 30, verse number 5. Every word of God is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him.
So we got, like you say, we got to start learning to trust in the Most High, man. You know, there's a different thing, like different spirits that the Most High God put on us for us to go do the work. Different things that we have insight on that we don't really try to do, but the Lord put these things on us so we can be able to, be a light, man, to the nation of people, man, our nation, man, right? This is how we supposed to be thinking. Say, go to James chapter 3 and verse 17. This is how we supposed to be thinking, man. Let me see. This is the precept of Proverbs 30 and 5.
This book of James, chapter 3, and verse number 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure,
Read.
then peaceable.
Then what?
Then peaceable.
So guess what, man? We got to start leaning on this. This is what we read. This is going into the same thing we were reading in Wisdom of Solomon chapter 9, verse 17, man. Verse 17 and 18. How we get wisdom from the Most High. Guess what? How we can be saved through our wisdom, through wisdom of the Most High. And this is how we got to start getting our mindset wrapped around, thinking about how the Most High God set this thing up for us, right? He said wisdom is first what up?
But the wisdom that is from above is first pure,
Mm-hmm.
then peaceable,
read. Gentle, read.
and easy to be entreated.
So guess what, man? This thing should be easy for a brother and sister to be entreated, man. You see God's laws, you see certain things that you're supposed to be doing and partaking in. Guess what? We gotta start walking into this stuff, man.
We got another precept for it.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 22 through 25.
All praise. Brothers need to write them precepts down, man. Let's get there right quick. Brothers need to write them things down, man.
Next is I have a question. Job 30 and 1.
You ready? All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. This book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, and verse 22. For wisdom, which is the worker of all things.
Now let's get straight to the point. Jump down to verse 24.
Down to verse 24. For wisdom is more moving than any motion. She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness.
Even like we just read in the book of James. Like I said, that wisdom, this wisdom is pure. Meaning what? It's not defiled. Can't no undefiled thing come into you. You can't mix Christianity with this truth, Islam with this truth, Egyptology with this truth. Hey, those things don't stand up to nothing against this truth, man. Read on.
For she is the breath of the power of God.
Wisdom is the breath of the power of God. Read on up.
And a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty.
And it influences brothers and sisters with a pure spirit, man. Like we said, a lot of times, Christian, when you pull back the layers on Christianity, that's not pure, man. Like we said, you got Deacon Shake and Bake all up in the pool pit, messing with every sister. You got the homosexual choir director. That's not pure. And they know these things, yet they're leaning on the Lord like the Most High God is dealing with them. Read on up.
Therefore, can no defiled thing fall into her.
And that's also going into, like we said earlier, you can't mix no other religion with this. Seventh-day Adventists, Mormonism, you can't mix these things with this truth. Go ahead, Doc.
Because she asked the question.
Yeah. Sister Genesis asks, I have a question. Job 30 and 1. In reference to they that are younger than I, is the they Esau?
Yes.
Yeah.
The day is Esau. But why did the Lord say they was younger than us?
Because
Israel is his firstborn.
What precept?
Genesis 25.
Nah, he didn't say it.
Okay.
Go to Exodus 4:22 right quick.
I gave you that answer. Israel is my firstborn.
What was that precept?
Exodus chapter 4, verse 22.
Exodus chapter 4 and verse number 22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
So this is the reason why it's referencing the Israel. Talking about they that are younger than me, because Israel is the firstborn in the Most High God's eyes. Right.
Let me get another precept. Let's go to the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3 and verse 16.
Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 3 and verse number 16. And unto him thou gavest Isaac's likeness, and unto him thou gavest Isaac, And unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau.
Read on.
As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee and put by Esau.
And did what?
And put by Esau.
And put by Esau. We know that they were fraternal twins. But the Most High God chose Jacob and he passed Esau up. Even references to what I just brought out in the book of Exodus chapter 4. But we say Israel is the Most High God's firstborn, man. He did that with what? Isaac and Ishmael. He chose Isaac. He did it with Jacob and Esau. Even with Abraham, man. So these things go back. Go ahead, Doc.
And so Jacob became a great multitude.
Go ahead.
It says, asks us what precept did we bring out? We brought out Exodus chapter 4 and verse 22, and 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 16. Those were two precepts we brought out to explain that Job chapter 30 and verse 1.
Matter of fact, let's read that Job 31 right quick. Because I know that question comes up sometime. But even like I was going on, you want to make sure that you understand contextually, even when you're just reading in the Bible. You know, when you're seeing certain things like that, because we know laws say the firstborn, but like we say, you got to understand the Most High. He chooses whom he will to be his firstborn. And brothers and sisters, we can't say a damn thing about it.
This is the book of Job, chapter 30, and verse number 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
Read that over.
Job chapter 30 and verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision.
Meaning what? Esau.
Right.
This is speaking about Job is speaking about this in this time now. Derision meaning Esau has Jacob in confusion. Even all around, even when we see him with the fake Jewish people, saying that they're the real Jews, God's chosen people. They constantly got our people in derision, not knowing who we are, not understanding that they have taken our heritage and so forth.
My brothers out here wearing y'all and curls in the hair. Yeah, we in the red.
Yeah, no, you all right.
Okay. Good. He came to the right class.
Question.
Q&A today.
Oh, okay.
Praise.
Well, let me grab my sword then.
Where you grab it?
I didn't cover you all. Just I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't know. Hold on.
You want to read 30 from the top up?
Yeah.
Let's look at Job chapter 30 verse 1. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision.
Have us in confusion. Read on.
Whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock.
And Job even knew about these things, man. Esau was so off the chain, filthy, that he didn't want them out there playing with the dogs. They might mess with the dogs or something. Somebody they couldn't even sit with the dogs of his flocks, man. This is really going into the history of Esau when we read on down.
Man, we can read down a little bit because it's funny how we had to even culture them, man.
That's right. When do we culture them? During what time period? Any brother know? That's where world history comes into play. Yeah, give them culture and teach them things and so forth. Teach them how to bathe. During the dark ages.
That's right. So it's like you say, read down, watch how it go.
Verse 2. Yea, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished.
Verse 3.
For want and famine, they were solitary.
So guess what? Man, like you say, when they was in the dark ages, guess what, man? Hey, we pushed they butts in the Caucasus Mountains, man. Right? Read on.
Fleeing into the wilderness.
And they fled into the wilderness, read.
In former time, desolate and waste.
Because that's what they was, desolate and waste, man. Well, watch how far desolate and wasted they are, verse 4.
Who cut up mallows by the bush and juniper roots for their meat.
Man, they would eat dirt, man, and clods of dirt and roots, man, out the ground, man. They didn't understand nothing. Why you think you saw them not a season on food right now? Say stuff be good, man. You taste it, man. You like, man, let's go back over on our side, man. This ain't good at all. We had to help culture them, man, because they didn't know no better. Right? We don't.
They were driven forth from among men.
Mm-hmm.
They cried after them as after a thief.
Because guess what, man? This is how we drove them to the mountains, man. Right? Read on, watch this.
To dwell in the cliffs of the valleys,
Mm-hmm.
in caves of the earth, and in the rocks.
So this is the reason why they call them Caucasians, right? Because we drove them to the caves, right? I say this is straight history of Esau, man, all the way, right? We got another question. It says, got another one. Isaiah 13:2 is the banner the Bible.
Yep.
13. The banner.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's read it.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 13 and verse number 2. Lift thee up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt thy voice unto them. Shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
And even like what Ak is going into, it says, lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain. The banner is going into the Bible. Because guess what? We're using the Bible to bring down the high mountains, meaning what? The governments. Even we know that mountain represents governments, because when governments go to what they call a summit, where all the nations come together. Like we said, the summit is going into what? To the top of the mountains. So even with references like that, Esau is very clever on those references that they give. It says, lift ye up the banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand. What is shake the hand? Meaning don't do that. This is shake the hand right here. So when we out there teaching our people what they should and shouldn't do, that's us shaking the hand, telling them, no, don't do that.
Right.
Guess what? Do this right here. Brothers, be in order. Take care of your families. According to what? These precepts right here. Sisters, stay in order with your husband. Stay in order, period. According to what? These precepts right here. Read on up.
Verse number 3. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones from my anger, even them that rejoice in my hidings.
You forgot to read the rest of it.
Oh, so like it, my bad. Verse number 2 from the top. Lift thee up a banner upon the high mountain. Exalt thy voice unto them. Shake the hand.
And this let you know that it's going into the Bible. When we're shaking the hand, giving corrections. Read on.
That they may go into the gates of the noble.
Because it's our job to go to the chief place of concourse to teach our people. To teach the nobles. Meaning what? Even people that's up in higher standards that may have a little money. They don't understand the Bible. Oprah Winfrey, she don't understand the Bible. You know, so yeah, it is making reference to the Bible.
That's right. Even when you go to Psalms, right quick, Psalm chapter 60 goes into the same thing. Psalm chapter 60 and verse 4.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 60 and verse number 4. That has given a banner to them that fear thee.
This goes into the laws, which goes basically, like you say, goes basically to the Bible. He said he gave a banner for them that love thee, right? Read.
That it may be displayed because of the truth.
Because this is how the law, statutes, the commandments, or the Bible will be displayed because of the truth, man. Right? Go one into the same, man. Psalms chapter 60 and verse 4. So yeah, that is right.
Go to Jeremiah 51. We'll read down from 25.
51, you want to start 25 up?
Yeah.
Come on. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, and verse 25. Okay. Verse 25, behold, I am against thee, all destroying mountain, saith the Lord.
We know that mountain is going to what? The governments or the leadership of this world. Go ahead.
Which destroys all the earth.
And destroyed all the earth, right? Read on. Indoctrinating the whole earth. Read on.
And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain.
They're going to make it a burnt mountain, man. Let's see how. Read on.
And they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundation, but thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord.
Who is that cornerstone? Who is that stone? They ain't gonna so they ain't gonna take that stone, all right? Right. That's what we gonna take. Read on.
Verse 27. Set ye up a standard in the land.
So the standard is going into that same land. This is the standard that we set them. Set up the standard in that land, which is the laws, statutes, and commandments. Read on.
Blow the trumpet among the nations.
Blow the trumpet among the nation. What we do? Isaiah what? We cry loud, right? Blow the trumpet, or like a trumpet, which is the word. Read on.
Prepare the nations against her.
Uh-huh.
Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Meaning, and Ashkenaz.
Uh-huh.
Appoint a captain against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough
So
caterpillar.
it said, cause the horses to come as a caterpillar. You know, them horses is going into what? Like rulership, right? You go to Ecclesiastes 10:7, I've seen what? Servants on horses, right? Going into like rulership. So it said, this is the standard that he said he's going to set up for us to bring down the mountain or the banner, like you said. So it's going to the same.
Like, and all those words go one and the same. Like we see, even like we see signet or sign. All these goes in like that's what a banner is a sign, right? And all these things, like you say, go one and the same. So when you read this thing, it's just where it falls upon.
And we know, read verse 29. We know that this is prophetically going into a miracle. Let's see if brothers and sisters can know how. Read verse 29 again.
Verse number 29. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation.
So what's the key word to let us know that it's not talking about ancient Babylon?
Because it's still being inhabited.
That's right. Without inhabitant. The modern day land of Babylon is what land today, brothers? Iran and Iraq. When last time we checked, they still over there. They over there inhabited that land. So it's not talking about this Iran and Iraq today. It's talking about America prophetically. Go ahead, Al.
We come on it. Brothers and sisters, got any questions in the class, man? It's in the building right now. Y'all got any questions? I'm making me start asking y'all some questions, man.
Oh, I'm about to. Yeah, it's already too late. Because I know we'll touch on for this Sabbath. Just kind of give y'all some. How many covenants are there? Do any brothers know? How many covenants do brothers and sisters think there are? Or I'll put it like this. How many covenants did the Most High God make outside of Israel?
Outside of Israel.
That's a pretty good question. That's a damn good question.
Outside of Israel.
I'm gonna say just one. I'm gonna say one. The one he made with Abraham. That's more than that.
It's more than
right.
that.
I was thinking on Moses. That's about 8.
What was the covenant with Moses?
That it was 8, and that the word
Moses?
What's the covenant with Moses?
He made one.
You mean Noah?
I literally
No,
just gave you the answer. I said
That's about 8.
I get the rainbow.
Is you guessing or not?
Who was that covenant with?
That was Noah.
Okay, that's one covenant.
Okay, yeah.
With the rainbow. Even like what brother my mind is gone. Tell me your name. Donovan, thank you. My mind is gone. Hey, I might be getting old, man.
Yeah,
But even with that, with the Mosaic covenant, you got the Noahic covenant. What other covenants?
You did one with David.
Okay, you got a covenant with David.
In the new covenant.
That's a new covenant. That's right.
So Noah, David,
Yeah.
Abraham, the new covenant,
You got,
and Abraham.
and that's kind of what we'll touch on this Saturday. You got the Adamic covenant, the Noahic covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, also going into the Mosaic, going into the Davidic covenant, eventually going into the new covenant. Who is it? You don't know?
Yeah.
No, just show you. You know. I could be, hey, we'll take all smoke too. But I know that's basically what we'll kind of touch on, like about 5 or 6 covenants outside of that.
Yeah, so yeah, bro.
Looking like,
Looking like you, brother. I see your camera. Looking like you might have something.
I guess I could. I mean, it's a lot that I really don't understand about the doctrine that y'all have, but you know, I'm not here to question everything, and I just sometimes just listen. You know what I'm saying? But I heard y'all say something off the tail end about I guess you know what you call Caucasian.
Yeah.
And I'm a little bit kind of confused about the whole Caucasian situation because where it is that we have a group of people who call themselves Jewish, to my understanding, that person will be Esau.
That's right.
But Esau a Caucasian, and he's actually a twin brother.
Oh.
Go to it.
How many types of twins are there?
Fraternal identity.
You got two types of twins. You got fraternal twins, twins that what don't look alike. Then you have identical twins, twins that do look alike. Right? So you have to catch certain things what brothers is going to go into right now.
I'm gonna ask you a question right quick. Are nations the same? Is any one nation the same as another nation?
By nation, you mean
Or people?
Look, their look.
yeah. They look who look the same.
But are they actually the same? Is any nation the same? The Lord made 18.
No.
That's not what
Yeah.
Ain't no, I mean, they are different genetics. The book of
That's
Generation, we start with the genes. That's the book of the genes.
Well, I'm talking about something right now.
Hey, you guys
Talk
talking
about
about
something
right quick. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 25 right quick. Start at verse. You can go straight to it, verse 23. No, go start verse 22.
23, right?
21.
Okay, it's right.
Start 21.
21. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25, and verse number 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren.
That's right.
And the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Uh-huh.
And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
So guess what? We already know when a woman or the man want to require something from the Lord, where do they go? To the seers. What precept?
First Samuel 9.
First Samuel chapter 9, verse 9. So they got questions because she got twins. Guess what? The prophet's gonna tell her that she got twins in her womb because she heard them, that she knows she got a baby in it,
And they said it's of the Lord.
That's right. So, but watch how it say, because she said she was hurting, so she want to know why she hurting so bad, right? Verse 23 gave her the answer why she hurting so bad, right? Read this.
Verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, two nations.
No, two twins.
Two
He
nations.
said two nations. Did you catch that, brother? So whether they twins or not, it's two different nations. Not the same nation. Even if we twin brothers or not, the Lord said these are two nations.
Right, I understand that.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay, then read.
Two nations are in thy womb, and two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
So guess what? Think about it. If Esau was, say for instance, Esau was an albino. Is an albino a nation? No. They not a nation. So this other person got to be a whole nother nation. I'm talking about like we still, because we know according to Ecclesiastes chapter 4, there's no end of all people. So this nation is still around, right? Okay then, read.
And the other people shall be stronger than the other.
Read that again.
Select. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
So it called it twins because she had two babies in her womb, but the two babies was what? Two nations,
right.
Two manner of different people, right?
Oh, hold on. I forgot something. It's three different kinds of twins. What you say? The first one?
Identical and fraternal.
And Siamese.
Yes, Siamese. Siamese, yeah, we eat it. Yes, Siamese twins.
But that would be considered identical though.
You
Not
know, like
necessarily.
sometimes a baby kid, they can be
Yeah, joined at the hip.
joined at the hip. Yes,
Or they
Siamese
can be
twins.
joined at the hand and the foot.
Yeah.
Or the head.
Or the head.
A hand and a foot, a heel and a hand, like these two was, but
No, that's not making reference to that.
I know. I know that it was. You think the baby?
Because we go back to 23 and it said 2 nations.
Right. I understand that. That's not the point.
So there's no way they can be identical.
And there's no way they can be Siamese
I'm
either.
not saying that they're identical. I'm just simply saying, do it make sense? We use intelligence and understanding here, right?
That's right.
So, is it logical to say, come on, Esau, you come on out the womb. We're gonna hold you over here like most doctors do, right? That's how it is. You take one baby out. But this situation presents itself where this other baby took hold to the heel. Hold on, he still got his heel. You think he just holding on saying, yeah, no, I ain't gonna let my brother go. Nah, man, they signed me.
What that represents, brothers?
We got
Second
Six
Ezra.
and nine.
That's right.
Start at 8, 6 and 9.
And
Guess what? And that's a good logic. But it say, like you say, it's 3 types of twins. But guess what? It's only 2 nations of it.
Yeah,
So guess what? Can Siamese twins be 2 nations?
No.
I'm saying,
because
I understand it's 2 different nations. That's not
because
what's in question.
that's the main part of it. You see, that's the main part. Because like if say for instance, a lot of Christians when they like people that's like in Christianity, they'll read that and guess what? They'll form all kind of stuff about it, but they never want to deal with it was 2 nations.
I understand, and I want 100% stand with you.
Okay.
It's 2 different nations. That's not my dispute. My thing is this, and the point that I'm really making is when we go back to the book of genetics, when we go back to the gene tree, what we also see is it's gonna tell us that, and I know y'all have a different understanding because y'all done told me before, but the true Gentile, according to that, he's from the Isle of who? Japhet, as we read that, right?
Everybody outside of Israel is a Gentile, not just Japheth. Ham is a Gentile too.
any people outside of the lineage of Israel, like I said, are Gentiles.
Okay, all right. That's why you're.
Now hold on. Well, you making a statement that you think Esau is Japheth?
No. What I'm simply saying is Esau is one people and Caucasians is another.
Oh no.
No.
You think that they the same?
Yeah, they're the same people.
Like I say, okay, with our point, we can prove it. How you prove it?
How can you prove that Esau and Caucasians are two different?
I mean that was my way of proving the scripture that I was just talking about just now. Like I said, the one say, how you say it, Japheth? I keep saying it wrong. Japheth, Gentile, Esau, Israelite.
Oh no.
No, Esau not Israelite.
Let me hold on. Let's address the first part. How do we know what nations are today, brothers? By what? By the characteristics that the Bible gives you. So the Bible is outlaying characteristics of what nation is who. So
I mean his Hebrew though.
Yeah, Hebrew.
I would say
we know
he's not.
Yeah, not Israelite, but Hebrew.
Yeah.
Right.
So the Bible outlines characteristics for each nation. So that's what we're going to go through in Genesis chapter 25. We're going to outline these characteristics, and we want to see which characteristic line up with what race of people today.
That's right. That's right. So let's continue to read down.
Okay. I'm gonna start at verse 24 again. Genesis 25 and verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the spurts came out red all over like a hairy garment.
So Judah in the house, we reading about who is Esau, and we read about who are the white folks. Well, the Bible called before 1681, they coined that term as calling themselves white in 1681. Before that, everybody called them red. Right?
Matter of fact, we'll let you answer. What do they call Caucasians down south?
Down south.
Yeah.
Rednecks.
Right.
Why? Because the blood shows forth through their skin.
That's right. So even like you said, before 1681, nobody called them white. Right. They used that term, right? because white was everything good and pure, and guess what? That's what they wanted to make themselves to be good and pure. But before that, everybody knew they was red. That's why it's an irony to see that they changed the redskin names, because guess what? They said it was offensive to the Indians. No, it was offensive to Esau. That's who it was offensive to, because they was the original redskin. Why you think in that movie? Why you think in that movie the so-called Indians? Guess what they called Esau? Pale skin. They never called them white. Guess what? And we never did either. But now we adopted those things, right? So go ahead, read that.
And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Hold
called
up.
his
We're
name.
gonna touch this
No,
thing
no,
at 30.
we're gonna read it then. I want everybody
You already know.
read that dog out.
And they called his name Esau.
So read that again.
Verse 25 from the top. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment.
So
And they called his name Esau.
So it said the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. Who comes out red and hairy?
Okay.
I mean, y'all tell me who comes out red and hairy. Look red, look fuzzball.
Just think about it. I know you done seen the Caveman Geico commercials. They don't put that up there for no reason. That's the reason behind it, because it's talking about them how they were cavemen during the Dark Ages. They know who they were. And when you see them, they what? Red, and they're very hairy.
Okay, all right. I understand what you're saying, but this have you ever really seen the people in Israel right now, what they call Israel right now?
Yeah, the fake Jewish people. Yeah, they red too.
They is red, and mostly red hair, red butt.
You making our point for us too, brother.
Right, and I'm trying to let you know that well, I got the understanding of what you're saying.
Okay.
But at the same time, when we look at the other so-called white people, they don't look like that. Not all of them. You got white people who got brown hair, blonde hair, blue eyes. They don't even look like Esau.
But guess what? I'm gonna explain something to you.
What about this?
Look at dog. Look at dog. Look his hair.
Okay, but what about us?
All right, say you slap.
We can say the same thing.
Say you slap one of them fake Jews, right? Then you come over and you slap one of these Edomites from North Africa, right?
They're gonna do the same thing.
They gonna have the same.
That's
red
right.
color.
That's right. Okay. But at the same time, just I'm gonna keep it 1,000 or Hamites and so-called Negroes or Israelites. Some of us look the exact same too. But we're different.
We are.
So they different, and just like they different.
No, brother, you can't say that. All right. Unless you got biblical proof to provide behind it.
Now, this is the thing. This is where you're getting. We're talking about now. We understand it may be. We're talking about so-called Caucasians that have these characteristics.
Right.
We're gonna outline some more characteristics though. Like I said, the first two, they're red and hairy. That line up with the Caucasians so far. Keep reading up.
Verse 26.
That's right.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him.
We got to touch on that too, because that's relevant for right now. This signifies one person in rulership, signifying is going to be what? Taking over rulership. What race of people are ruling today?
That's right.
The Gentiles. It's been given up to the Gentiles.
What Gentiles?
What Gentiles?
What Gentiles?
Many
Specifically? So we know what race of people. All you have to do is pull out a dollar bill, pull out some money, and see who face is on that money.
Right.
Caucasians. They control the military. They control the banking system. They control everything. So this is making relevance till today. Meaning what? Let's get that in 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 9. So this is another characteristic. These people will be in rulership. So it's without a shadow of a doubt, when we pin these things all the way down, what characteristics do these fall upon?
This is book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 8. And
Matter of fact, start at 7.
yeah, that's what it says.
Start at 7.
Verse 7. 2nd Ezra, chapter 6 and verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? Or when shall be the end of the first?
When shall be the end of the first?
and the beginning of it that followed.
This is interesting, asking a real tough question. When is going to be the end of the first? We already know that who's in rulership right now are those Caucasians, right? So it's just asking when is going to be the end of their reign, and after the reign of after them that follow, right? You with us? All right.
And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
They were connected.
Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Hold on, that's two. You talking two different books now. That's not what it say. It said it took hold of his heel. That essentially is the same thing. That's what it said in this book, but in this book it just worded a little bit different.
Yeah, but it's the same meaning.
Same meaning.
That's the point. It's the same
Right.
meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9. But Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed.
And that's the whole reason why he held fast to the end. It's no division in between. When they lose their rulership, we go straight into rulership.
It's not like it's going to be a period of time where it's just nobody ruling or something that's getting set up for the next period. Now, that means that we are coming into rulership directly after the Most High sent Christ back.
So that's what that means. That's a symbol for. Not that they were actually Siamese twins. It's represent who's ruling up next.
That's right.
That's the whole point. So we know that the Caucasians are ruling the planet Earth today. We know that they're red. We know that they're hairy. Let's read some more characteristics.
Genesis 25.
Mm-hmm. Look at Genesis chapter 25.
Verse 27.
And one side of verse number 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents.
And that let you know right then they wasn't no Siamese twin, because Esau in the field and Jacob at the house.
That's right.
So they not together. That let you know they not Siamese twin.
Yeah, for sure.
Because one of them is in the field and the other one chill at the crib. Right?
It says a cunning hunter. What races of people love to go hunting?
Hunt anything.
A killer giraffe.
Okay.
How you gonna kill a giraffe?
Kill a damn
Or killing people, innocent people.
Yeah.
That's right.
They hunters for real.
You know what nation of people hunt on a scale nationwide like that? Because my uncle liked to hunt, but I don't like to hunt. Esau is teaching himself to hunt, his son to hunt, his grandson to hunt. Yeah, that's fourth generation to hunt.
Right.
As a nation of people, Caucasians love to hunt. That's why they take trips, $1 million trips over there to Africa to hunt extinct animals and so forth.
Right.
Black people not doing that.
Right.
East Indian people not doing that. African people stay in Africa. They don't even do that.
Right.
So that's another characteristic. That's why even when you see them hunting, they always got trophies on the wall. They even took trophies of us, showing you their characteristics. So that's another characteristic. So it's all matching up to Caucasians 5, all the other nations 0, basically. This is another, like we say, characteristic. Let's read some more.
Verse number 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said unto Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage.
With that same red what?
With that same red pottage.
Now this is symbolizing what? That raw meat. The porridge wasn't finished yet. What nation of people like their meat? What? Medium rare. Do you eat a medium rare steak? Exactly. Look how you look. You like, man, brother, you have the audacity to ask me.
I don't do
Ask me that. What people eat raw meat like that?
Look.
Caucasians.
Just let it cook for 5 minutes.
For real.
No, 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
I'm talking about, give me that thing.
Let it come down right here. Right here. Good right there.
That's why I wanted to pull it up to give us more visuals, even when they're hunting. That son get that first kill, they cut that deer open. What they do, get that heart.
Yeah.
Eat it just like that, man. I'm talking about it make you want to throw up right now, man.
And that's against the law of the Most High.
Yeah, that's right. And that's another characteristic. So we got their red, they're hairy, they love to hunt, they ruling the world, they eating raw meat. Let's read some more.
For I am faint. Therefore, let me read 30 from the top. Verse 30 from the top. Then Esau said unto Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. but I am faint.
Hold on, we haven't got to touch on one. It says a man of the field. We cannot leave that out.
For real.
Meaning what? They love to be out there in the wild.
Naked and afraid.
Boy,
Come on, man.
you maybe see 2 Negroes on that thing that want to be like, and they may be chocolate covered Edomites.
12 seasons. Two brothers. So
When it says a man of the field, meaning what? They like to go skydiving. Would you go skydiving, brother?
I'm a soldier, man.
Would you do it though?
I'm a United States Army soldier.
Oh, okay, all praise.
Yeah.
Would you climb Mount Everest?
Yeah.
Would you
No,
go?
I ain't-
Exactly. Would you go deep sea diving with sharks?
I ain't doing that.
That's what it means. They do those things. They like to be out in the field. Like with me, I'm a plain man. I don't like to do nothing.
That's right.
Chill out there. I don't even play dominoes. I play some basketball though. I just brothers know that. I just chill at the house. I'm cool, man. Just in my little tent, chilling, reading, chilling.
Plain
most
easy.
part we
That's
all.
right. That's right. We playing men.
What we go to? We go to a thing called kickbacks.
That's right.
Let's go to a kickback. What we doing? We sitting down,
Plain
jamming,
burger.
talking to each other, dominoes, baby.
That's right.
Kickback, we not gonna be doing too much.
Plain burger.
That's right. Even like how I was saying, plain. Hey, I'm plain all the way. But even one bread.
One bread, bro.
One bread on the box. But even like how it's naming all the characteristics, all these characteristics fit one race of people, which are the so-called Caucasians. When you go over there to Israel, the Edomites over there, they do these same things as well. They eat raw meat. You know, so that's how we get. They're ruling the world. The Jewish people literally do rule the world. Banking system, the diamond district, they own Hollywood, they own the entertainment industry. So it's literally put them together. That's how we know that they're all one people. See, they use different names to divide themselves. That's why they all one thing they have in common is what? French Caucasian, Jewish Caucasian, Spaniard Caucasian. They letting us know that they all the same people. We just don't catch it a lot of times. French Caucasian, New England Caucasian.
Watch this. And this right here is a big attribute too.
Can we read down one more point?
Look like that.
31.
31.
31, 32.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25 and verse 31.
Last point on it.
And Jacob said, "Sell me this day thy birthright." And Esau said, "Behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me?"
So what kind of who 9 times out of 10, who doing the school shooting? 9 times out of 10, who killing somebody because over money that they didn't get to inherit from their father? I'm at the point to die. We go through tough times. What we do? We go through it. We cry, we complain a little bit, but we go through it. When they go through tough times that they can't handle, they're at the point to die. What Jimmy said, I'm gonna kill one man there, I'm gonna kill both of them. Right? This is another attribute of them, man. Because when they go through things, they can't take it. It's death for somebody.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and shoot up, and then what they do, end up shooting themselves.
Right.
This is another attribute of them. But when we go through things, what we do?
Kill each other?
No, we do. We'll go kill somebody else, or we kill our damn selves. Though.
Yeah.
But we don't have these kind of same attributes. It's like, well, I'm at the point to die, so well, no, we be like, damn, I'm down, I'm just down. I see niggas out there on the street there, I'm just down. But you got a drink, got a blunt, got to like give me a cigarette. Give me they puff on that cigarette like one, order than they ever had. All right, appreciate that, young folks. You know what I'm saying? They be a
Jump over to Genesis chapter 36, verse 1. Because like you say, this is, come on, brother, hold y'all peace, man. Because when we ask you some questions, we don't see y'all right there, right? I'm gonna see how good you're gonna be right there, again. Right? Genesis chapter 36 and verse 1.
Book of Genesis, chapter 36 and verse 1. Now, these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom.
So guess what? This is going into the generations of Esau. Jump down to verse 28, man. Get straight to it.
All right. Verse number 28.
No, verse, no, you can read any one of them. Read verse,
Now get straight to the point, because we got some bubble.
read verse 16.
19.
Yep.
Okay, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
Duke Core.
Who, Duke what?
Duke
Who
Core.
the hell called himself Duke? Jaffe don't call himself no Duke. But who called himself Duke? They got a movie called, they got a show called Dukes of Hazzard. Who call themselves Dukes? Yeah, bro, I know you see it.
Who on Duke's side?
Who? Esau.
With the Confederate flag.
With
the
That's right. So Japheth, they call themselves Duke. But these people right here calling themselves Duke. You can look, see their whole lineage. You 17 Dukes. 18 Dukes. All the way down. Dukes.
What do they call themselves in England? Dukes today.
Yeah.
That's right.
Over there in England.
And they still call themselves Duke.
That's right, today.
Right? Jump down to verse 43. Yep.
Verse 43. Duke Magdiel, Duke Aram, these be the dukes of Edom, according to their habitation.
According to their habitation, read.
In the land of their possession.
Guess what? In the land of their possession, they're gonna be calling themselves dukes. Japheth's not doing it. But in the land of their possessions, they call themselves dukes, right? Read.
He is Esau, the father of the Edomites.
You see that? It said plain. It said plain. I hope brothers understand. Got some understanding today.
I know, brother Dexter, I seen your question. I know you know we have to extensively go through this. I know Ak was making a question. I know he took it down, but we'll still address it anyway. Concerning 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse 1, the Davidic covenant with First Chronicles. But yeah, read 2 Samuel chapter 7 verse 1.
7 verse 1. This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 7 and verse number 1. And it came to pass when the king sat in his house, and the Lord had given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said unto Nathan the prophet, see now, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of God dwelleth within the curtains. Within curtains.
Jump straight down to it.
Yeah. Well, now he was asking from 1 through 5. You may have to put your question up because
he said 2 Samuel chapter 7, and he had something else, but I don't think it went through the whole thing.
Yeah, no, he said, I know the other one he won, First Chronicles chapter 17, verse 11. But he was asking something pertaining to the Ark of the Covenant. But we're going to take a stab at it.
So 2 Samuel chapter 7 going into the promises that he left King
David.
Yeah, Nathan the prophet left King David promises through his vow.
But he was asking for something like what we just read with the Ark of the Covenant. I don't know how he was trying to lump it together. Like, was the Ark of the Covenant, that covenant with them? No, that covenant just basically going into Christ reigning out of the lineage of David. That's all that was going into. But put it back on there and kind of clarify. You go ahead and go to the next one. Unless you want to touch on it.
I think what he going into, like in the previous chapter, that King David didn't want the ark to come to his house. It stayed over somebody's house, over David's house. Go to 2 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 8, verse 9.
This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 9. And David was afraid of the Lord that day, and said, how shall the ark of the Lord come to me?
Read.
So David would not remove the ark of the Lord unto the city of David.
Read.
But David carried it aside into the house of Obed Edom the Gittites. And the ark of the Lord continued in the house of Obed Edom the Gittite 3 months, and the Lord blessed Obed Edom and all his household.
Read.
Verse 12. And it was told King David, saying, the Lord has blessed the house of Obed Edom and all that pertaineth unto him, because of the ark of God. So David went and brought up the ark of God from the house of Obed Edom into the city of David with gladness.
So guess what? At first, King David didn't want the ark because I guess the responsibility was kind of too big for him. So the Lord had provided a place for the ark to stay until, I guess, the Most High reassured King David it's okay. So King David took the ark and brought it into the city. But the ark was supposed to be with what? We just went over this. Who was the ark supposed to be with?
Levites.
With the Levites.
Right.
The Levites supposed to have the ark because they were setting up, the Levites was the one that was setting up the tabernacle. So when they set up the tabernacle, then they put the ark inside the tabernacle, and the Levites used to go, and that's when they go and treat it to the Most High, right? But King David was given, this was a shadow of things to come, because the Levitical priest was going to stop carrying the tabernacle, and the ark was going to be in what? In the temple. Right? So that's how I don't know if that's what he wanted out of it.
Yeah, we'll readdress it. That was good.
But yeah, but that's what that was going into though. If I don't know what the brother was talking about. What else question they got? Genesis chapter 35.
No, I could
They were just putting in there for about Genesis. Esau.
Okay.
You got one about saying about the incorruptible body. You see that one?
Yeah, it's something before them though. But go ahead, sis, real quick.
Okay, so touching on the albinos, is that a leprosy of the skin?
Yes.
So that's like a curse.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. There's different types of leprosy. Esau has one particular type, and even like with the so-called Hamites, you even see some of our people with. You know, I've seen brothers going to the stove. Yeah, that's a curse. You know, when you're reading the scriptures in the book of Leviticus.
Yeah, Moses' sister, right?
That's right. With Miriam.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's get there. Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 2. I know Ezra was asking about John chapter 15, verse 1 through 5. It is.
This is the book. Ready? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, this is the book of Leviticus chapter 13 and verse 2.
Mhm.
When a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or a bright spot.
Or a bright spot. And you see that a lot of times they start out with a bright spot, and it starts to spread all over their body. Read on.
And it be in the skin of the flesh, like the plague of leprosy.
Like the plague of leprosy. Read on up.
Then he should be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest.
Read on up.
And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh. And when the hair in the plague is turned white.
Because you see that as well. Not only do the skin turns white, but the hair turns white as well. Read on.
And the plague in sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh. It is a plague of leprosy.
It is a what?
It is a plague of leprosy.
Read on up.
And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean.
So they have some type of uncleanness on it, whether it be from future sins, past sins that they haven't repented for. So that's basically what leprosy is. Uncleanness. Go ahead, Op.
Here come. He said, I see what he talking about. That goes into first. No, but no, it goes into what we just break it down. We just go exactly what we just broke down already. So.
I know Brother Ezra was asking, can we break down John chapter 15, verse 1 through 5?
I kind of figured that way we're going. That's why I'm trying to cover it.
Can I ask a question on that for y'all go there?
What about
what you just said about this leprosy thing? This you said future sins, past sins. What about the sins from their father?
No, remember, you're not responsible for the sins of your father. Every man should take on his own sins. You understand that? Let's get there real quick. Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 18 and verse 20, real quick.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 18 and verse 20. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him.
So you see that, brother?
So how do we explain the commandment?
What you mean?
When he say that he go visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation.
That's
of
what-
them that hate me.
That's a good question. Now that goes into what, brothers? Regeneration. So Most High God sends our spirit back every 3 or 4 generations. So you pay for the sins which you committed in the past sometimes.
Right.
You understand that?
What you committed, not your father.
What you committed. So even with John chapter, just to give it in a nutshell real quick, certain people that have illnesses, Christ was letting them know about that. That's a heavier class for a heavier topic, really going into regeneration though. You know, you understand about regeneration, brother? How the Most High God brings our spirit back. That's what that literally is going into every 3rd or 4th generation.
Like when he said John came in the spirit of
Exactly. Of Elijah.
Elijah.
So they are the same spirit. Elijah is John the Baptist in the future. You understand that? Yeah, that's what that's going into. Go ahead.
Let's go to, what's it, John chapter 15?
Yeah.
I'm starting at verse 1, right?
Yeah.
It's the book of St. John, chapter 15, and verse number 1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husband. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that bears fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit.
The brothers and sisters understand what this going into already? What this going into? Read verse 2 again.
Verse number 2. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, he taketh away.
Everybody that's not keeping the commandment, he taketh away. Right? Read.
And every branch that bears fruit,
And every branch that is keeping the commandments, read.
he purgeth it.
He tried, right?
That's right.
Bring forth more fruit.
That you can bring forth more fruit. Right?
Because purge, what is purge going to? It's not just about killing.
Right.
Purge is going into like killing out, going to kind of like into Colossians 3:5. Mortify. He cleans it. He takes it through like I said. Right? He cleanses it. Man.
That's right. That's right.
He purifies it
That's right.
so that we can bring forth more fruit. Purging out the bad that we have. It's like a plant, like an ivory. My grandma always had this ivory plant, and she would always tell me go out there and take out the little brown piece. Because 90% of that plant, that leaf was still good. So she would tell me to go out there and take off that brown piece, just cut it off a little bit, and a couple weeks later to grow back full, the whole thing. So that's what purging is going to, so we get understand.
Even like gold when it's refined to take out all the impurities.
Right.
Take out the zinc, the copper, so it can be that fine gold. That's what the Most High God is doing into. Go ahead.
They come, read on up.
Verse number 3. Now you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you.
That's pretty simple, brother.
Ephesians 5:26, Acts 2:41.
Kind.
Like scripture say what they say, man. Read on.
Verse 4. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine.
Uh-huh.
No more can ye, except ye abide in me. I am the vine, ye are the branches.
He making it plain.
That's right.
He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, ye can do nothing.
So guess what? Christ said he's the tree and we the branches. Basically was what Christ is going into. He said, I'm the tree, you the branches. You can't bring forth nothing without me, because without the tree, the branch we won't even be here.
Right.
And that's really what going into the word. You putting in and keeping the commandments. Like I said, without us keeping the commandments, you can't bring forth good fruit in this truth, man. You won't. It's impossible. And we see that with brothers and sisters. Go ahead,
What else supposed we get on here?
Judah in the house. Who is Esau? Esau is the white man. Who are the white folks? They Esau. They one and the same.
Right.
We just extensively went through
I
that.
think that's what you were saying to somebody.
Oh, okay. Well, all praise. All right.
Can you break down the exact meaning of Romans 12 and 21? I'm like Maccabees. Every question come out, hey man, keep the commandments legal.
Now you skip one.
You know, let's
The
go.
celestial body.
The celestial body.
Shalaki.
Can you go into the celestial bodies we will receive for enduring to the end?
Go get it. Where we going?
1 Corinthians 15 and 40.
I'll say that I ain't even know where it was at.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15 and verse number 39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another flesh of beasts, another of fishes, and another of birds.
So it's showing these different flesh, right? Like it's showing, like you say, it's showing the different flesh between beasts, fish, and people, man, right? We don't.
There are also celestial bodies.
There's also celestial, read.
And bodies terrestrial.
Terrestrial. So it's also celestial is heavenly, and then terrestrial is earthly, right? Read.
But the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another.
So these are two different things. These are two different bodies. Just like the bodies of angels and the bodies of us. Right? These two different things, right? Read.
There is one glory of the sun, and another glory of the moon.
So guess what? The sun and the moon ain't the same. The sun is one thing, the moon is another thing, right? Read.
And another glory of the stars.
And the stars is his own self. It's not the moon and the sun. Read.
For one star different from another star in glory.
So, hey, the Lord himself say one star is different from another, and it's millions and millions. If you stayed in the country, if you know anything about the stars in the sky, it's really millions of stars in the sky. I know y'all, we in the city, you can't really see it like that, but if you go out there to the country,
dark,
and while it's dark at, man, I'm talking about them stars are light the sky up like the sand of the sea for real, right? Go read on.
Verse 42. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It's a lucky, y'all. Resurrection of the dead. It is so. I'm 42 from the top. So also is the resurrection of the dead. It's a lucky. It is sown in corruption. It is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor. It is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness. It is raised in power.
So even touching on like what Ak is asking, that means we won't know sin anymore.
That's right.
We won't have illnesses anymore. Sickness, we won't have hatred for one another anymore. No jealousy, no strife, no none of that. It don't just go on a physical level, even though that part there is good. Give me Psalms chapter 18, verse 34. So we'll be perfect spiritually, mentally, and physically.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 34.
So this is also what these celestial bodies go into. Read this.
18:34, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He teaches my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arm.
Read that last part again.
So that a bow of steel is broken by my arm.
So we're going to have them type of bodies to where we're going to be able to break steel. So you can just imagine what Esau head or skull are doing in your hand. Once brothers had them celestial bodies. That thing there is heavy. It's not just talking about that. Just think about the abilities that Samson had to be able to slay and kill 1,000 men with the jaw of an axe. Even King David killing a bear, a lamb, while he was just a kid. Slaying Goliath. I mean, come on. This is some of the attributes, this is some of the powers of spiritual bodies. But we really looking for the ones, like we say. Yeah, exactly. I get spirit, boy. Spiritually, mentally, to understand what the weight of fire is. That's some heavy stuff right there.
Yeah, 2 and 7.
This book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse number 7. They shall run like mighty men.
Mm-hmm.
They shall climb the wall like men of war.
They shall climb the wall like men of war. Read out.
And they shall march every one on his way. And they shall not break their ranks.
So our bodies are going to be so special that we go march each one of our way. Let's just keep reading. Let's go first.
Neither shall one thrust another. they shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
Read that again.
And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
This is going into the new bodies, man, that we're going to get, man. Fall upon the sword and just take it out. Like, what was that? Right.
Two
Mosquito. Right. Read on.
They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall.
They shall run upon the wall. They shall run to and fro. So it's like seeing, like, if you speed up something, it's just going back and forth, back and forth. You just see them going back and forth. Right, read on.
They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief.
So they shall enter in the windows like a thief, man. So we're gonna have these bodies, man. We're gonna be in perfect order, being perfect killers, right? And when they say that now one of them gonna break their rank, I mean that we ain't gonna come out of order. We're gonna have it already. Who next? You next? You now? And we ain't gonna run into each other. Ain't gonna be no. Bro, watch out, bro. I got him, right? Nah, you got y'all.
No friendly fire, like you said.
That's right. Ain't no such thing, no friendly fire when we get these new bodies.
Who they gonna be killing?
All the other nations that's not in order.
That's right. That's great question.
So this ain't the kingdom of heaven. This is before the kingdom.
This is before exactly.
This
Leading into it.
All right, this is the battle.
Just about.
This is the battle. Right.
Romans 12 and 21.
You be tracking it, but yeah, Romans 12 and 21. Track the next statement, man.
Be patient with us, brothers and sisters. We want to give brothers and sisters an extensive breakdown so they can have a good understanding.
51 and stuff,
Do any brothers and sisters here got any questions? I mean, y'all.
I got another question, but I ain't trying to,
You all right.
you know what I'm saying, all the
You all
time.
right, man.
But Esau got to pay for that sin, though, right?
Oh, man, she don't have to pay
Well,
for
yeah,
that
that's what
sin.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I know y'all making that problem. We got Esau and them. They got to get. Revelation, right?
So you got another question?
Okay, so y'all was saying that we don't pay for this. We don't pay for the sins of our father. But what do they mean by the blind man? What is that going into? Like, did his father or his mother sin, or was it?
Let's go to John chapter 9, verse 1. I'm already there, too.
Go explain yourself. Just gonna say what they say. Nine and 1. Oh, he said he went and read.
This is the book of St. John, chapter 9, and verse 1. And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth.
The same thing you asked, right?
And his disciples asked him, saying,
So there was a man that was blind from his birth, right? Go ahead.
and his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or parents, that he was born blind? Yahushua answered, neither had this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him.
Did you see that sin? So sometimes, like you say, he might not have sinned or nothing. But guess what? So the Lord can show his works. He might just make somebody blind, or make somebody can't hear, or make somebody can't see. Whatever.
Make somebody lose everything. And still professional.
That's right. It makes somebody lose everything, put balls on their body, kill his kids, and everything.
And the wife say, you tripping, man. I'm like, nah, you tripping.
The Lord just try to show his power, though. So, yeah, brother. There ain't no question too hard for the Most High.
All right, man. I'm gonna go here again, man. I know y'all been answered this one before, but I'm gonna see if y'all can explain what's this Acts 1:12 too.
Acts chapter 4 and verse 12.
Acts 1:10. I started at 10 through 12.
Read. Yeah, book of Acts. This book of Acts chapter 4 and verse number 10. Be it known unto you all and to all the people of Israel that by the name of Yahushua, Christ of Nazareth, whom ye crucified, whom God raised from the dead. Even by him doth this man stand here before you whole. This is the stone which was set at naught of your builders, which has become the head of the corner. Neither is the salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men, whereby we must be saved.
And so even with that, your name also, it's just not as a physical name. Your name also goes into your what? Your reputation. Because we know, obviously, it's not literally talking about your name. Because we know that the Bible was translated from what? From Hebrew to Greek to Latin to English. So Yahushua or Jesus has transliteration of words. So even when you saying Jesus in Hebrew, Yahushua, it still means what? Jesus. You saying Jesus in Greek, it still means what? Jesus. It also goes into his name, and that's the point, his name. Because under his name goes his reputation. We're going to prove that. Let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 21. So do you understand about transliteration of words?
I understand that quite a bit, but I also understand this right here. This I mean, I know y'all, I hear what y'all saying, and I listen to a lot of words y'all say.
Mm-hmm.
Through our punishment, if you will, our language was taken away from us.
That's true.
And with that being done, I can't, you know, some of us barely can read English, man.
Yeah.
None of us can't speak Spanish. Well, how can we just come up and start saying, okay, now we can understand how to speak our own language and go back into the Hebrew tongue and start speaking these words and saying these words. And then on top of that, you gotta, well, I put, what's that, Revelation?
Hold on real quick. We want to hold at that point. Just like how we're practicing what? Wearing your fringes. That's how we're practicing not eating pork. It takes time. But it's not to say that we can't do it. You understand that? But it takes time. It's just like how we doing these things. We're celebrating the Sabbath, celebrating the Feast of Dedication. When we first came into the truth, we didn't automatically know how to do it. But as we grew in the wisdom and understanding of the scriptures and in being diligent in his word, we start to get that understanding. So it takes time to get to that level. Go ahead, huh? Go ahead, Jerubbaal.
No, go ahead.
Oh, Exodus. What I want to, what you say? Yeah, that's another good point too. But like we said, our heritage was lost, but we're slowly what? Gaining it back. That's why we're practicing these righteous rehearsals right now. You know?
Because like you say, because certain things gonna be given to us, but certain things is not gonna be given to us till Christ come back.
That's right.
So, I mean, no matter what, I mean, like you say, like so when brothers, like even some deeper meaning in the Bible, some brothers is going into the Hebrew and getting a better understanding of other stuff. But some stuff, guess what, man, be above brothers pay grade too. So you know.
But this is going, that scripture right there is going into his name, just based upon transliteration of words. It's other different languages out there. Like we said, we know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that we spoke Hebrew. Because you can even see that in the book of Acts, where they had his death written in 3 languages, right. Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Right. You know, so we know, like we said, they wasn't literally saying Jesus, but like as how our people know today, like we said, there was no letter J during that time.
And they called us Hebrews and Old Testament.
That's right. That's exactly right. But this is the point that I want to make with the name. Let's go to Exodus chapter 23 and verse 20.
Book of Exodus chapter 23 and verse 20. Behold, I send an angel before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared.
This is the Most High God talking about Christ. That angel is capitalized, putting emphasis on the angel or the messenger of the Most High. Read on.
Beware of him.
The Most High God is telling us, beware of Christ. Read on.
And obey his voice.
And
name.
And obey his voice.
His name?
His voice.
Good point. Read on.
Provoke him not,
Don't piss him off. We don't,
for he will not pardon your transgression.
because Christ has the ability to forgive sins. But not if you're not pissing him off by breaking the commandments willfully. Read on.
For my name is in him.
For the Most High God's name or his what? Reputation is in him. Just like your son, my son, our reputation is in them. Like we said, when they go back, like we say, you boy act like you got some sense because you're what? You're a representative of me. It's the same thing for Christ. That's what Acts chapter 4, verse 12 is going into. Meaning what? Keeping his commandments, doing the things that he did. That's what that's going into, not the literal name, because of transliteration. You understand it out? A little bit.
Just like when you go into Revelation chapter 19 and verse 12,
That's right.
it goes into the same thing. Because guess what? I know, like you say, we don't too much name bang because Psalm chapter 138, verse 2.
That's right.
You know, but
We said custom song. What's that?
138, verse 2.
Yeah.
We can read that right quick. Here we go over to Revelation.
I mean, for me, it's not so much that I name bang. It's just me. I know. Yeah, I might be used to speak Hebrew, but I read and understand English real good right now.
Yeah.
Right now today. And with that being so, like you say, and what's that, Revelation 22 and 19, I think that is, any man shall take away from the words of this book and the prophecy, God shall take away his part of the book of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he's saying that, as I hear this young man read, y'all read it every time he read, no matter what, if you disagree with me or not, he's still adding to or taking away from the book. Why? Because it don't say Yahawashi, Yahamashak, or whatever that he say every time he say that. It don't say that right there. So regardless, the truth of the matter is you changing the word every time you say it. Even if you don't kick it against the name, then I mean I just feel like if you don't kick it against it,
So you agree that we spoke Hebrew back in our forefathers' time, right?
that's our nationality. That's our tongue.
So if we spoke Hebrew, is it a sin for us to speak Hebrew? We call it a name.
That's a good point. That's a damn good point.
I ain't gonna say that it's a sin, but I'm gonna say that every Hebrew that I know, I've been to a lot of different camps and studied with a lot of them. And you know what they say?
What's that?
Man, go get your Apocrypha and go get your 1611 King James version of the Bible. And they stand on it. Well, why you standing on that? It's in English, man. Won't you stand on the book that say Yahamashak? Where that book at? Where the book that say that name?
It's right here.
No, it don't say that. In this tongue,
Why
it
we
don't
don't
say
speak
that.
Hebrew no more? Why do we speak English right now? Two great points.
Because of the slavery, because of the curse.
No, it's even a greater point why we speak English right now.
A greater point.
Because the Most High knew we was gonna go through these captivities, and the only way we was gonna be able to come back into our understanding of who we were was through the English language, because we were always speaking English at this time, right? But the same thing is the Most High is the one that blinded our hearts and took our hearts from us was not to speak Hebrew anymore. It was done for a reason, a purpose.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You speaking to my point. So why you trying to go back?
Hold on,
and
I got you.
again?
I got you. Watch this though. Psalm 138 verse 2.
This is book of Psalms, chapter 138, and verse number 2. I will worship toward thy holy temple and praise thy name for thy loving kindness and for thy truth.
Read.
For thou hast magnified thy word above all thy name.
I don't understand how the name can help you out so much. The Lord said he magnified his word.
What we just read, he said, obey his voice.
That's right.
Mean obey the law. We ain't worried about, and not saying that we're not worried about the name, but the laws is what we need to be following.
Watch this. Even if you're saying Jesus, if we saying Mashiach Yahushua, Revelation 19 and 12, all these things right here, like you say, scriptures, when we go through these things, these things give us a clear understanding that, guess what, us keeping the commandments, having the faith in Yahushua, guess what, we should be able to make it to the kingdom, man, right? Revelation 19 and 12.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 19, and verse number 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire.
This is going into Christ. We know, read.
And on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew.
Not Yahushua, not Christ, not no name. So if you don't know, you ready, you see the name in this book, guess what? He had a name written no man knew. You don't know it either. Right? So guess what? If we going on the Hebrew tongue or you going on the English tongue, how could you prove your point over this? Because it said it had a name no man knew. If you a man, you don't know it either.
But that's a prophecy, right? That's something
Right.
that's gonna happen in the future, right?
Mhm.
That's something that's gonna happen in the future. But we're talking about right now.
Okay.
Are we worried about it? Or are we worried about the end?
I'm worried about right now because
Even-
you don't. Once you get to the end,
Watch
you gonna, if you don't come on the side, like you just said, it's only by this name you can get salvation. Only by that. We just read that, right?
Watch this.
No.
Watch
He
this.
said we
Because-
can read that.
And
We can read
even
it again.
and even for another point that you have made, you talking about adding, taking away, this and that. So it's Rock 21 and 15 because a lot of time when you say certain things, it's more context to it.
That's right. You have to get a good understanding.
I'm
with
talking
it.
about great understanding, right? Sirach 21 and verse 15.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse number 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word,
Read.
he will select it. He will commend it and add unto it.
Read that again.
If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it.
So guess what? This is not taken away from God's word. When you're talking about add unto it, that means he goes into break it down. He goes further into getting a better understanding and expounding
Hold on,
on
read
it.
that again.
Right?
If
Start
a,
over. Book,
if,
chapter, and verse.
this is the book of Sirach, chapter 21 and verse number 15.
21 and 15.
If
Hold on. Let him get there.
Okay.
So Rock 21.
Ecclesiasticus.
Yeah.
Ecclesiasticus.
There you go. 21.
All right, I got it.
Right, chapter 21 and verse number 15. If a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeases him, and he casteth it behind his back.
Why do he cast it behind his back? Because he has not enough understanding of the word. That's why he casts it behind his back. So when you hear the word, guess what? You're gonna add unto it. Guess what? Just because you ain't reached to this point don't mean that they don't make it right. Sometimes it be hard for people to see it. When you don't see it, then here you go. Some people throw it behind your back. Sometimes it's just good sometimes to put things on the shelf and come back and readdress it when you get a better understanding.
Like I said, Yahweh Shai or Yahweh by Hashem is displeasing when you hear it.
I mean, it's not that it's displeasing me. To be honest, when I had first came into this knowledge, maybe, like I say, maybe 12 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. First thing that I said, man, Jesus that's not his name, man. That's not right, man. His name Yahshua. This right here, this name Yahweh. And then I used to teach people. I used to say, hey, you understand how like in Germany, who is also Gentile or Esau, right? Germans, right? Yeah. They got this one drink. Y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all probably familiar with it if y'all drink in it. What's it called? Jägermeister, right? Yeah. J-A-G. I used to teach this to people, right? But then I got the understanding of the tongues, which means we don't understand the power of the tongues, because if we did, then we could just start speaking Spanish right now. We could just start speaking Chinese right now. They saying the same thing. You go talk to Spanish people, what they say. They calling us black, what they saying, Negro. You know what I'm saying? That means black in Spanish or something like that, right? I don't want to be telling no lie. Somebody speak. Right. Negro. That's what they say. That's in their language. In this language that we speak, when this book was wrote, it was written in English. So whatever the name that they were saying,
no, it wasn't written in English.
This book wasn't written in English.
No, it was not written in English.
It was written in Paleo Hebrew. It was
was
translated.
No. What I'm saying when we got here.
But that's the point
What
that
about
you're
when our
missing.
forefathers got
That's
it?
right. That's the point that
What
you're
our
missing.
forefathers got. That's the reason why we in this position.
But I'm saying, what about when they got it? How was they reading?
That's right.
They wasn't reading.
But you got, but
Well,
you,
we always had a
but you-
number, a multitude of brothers.
Yeah, they kept the
let's
commandments.
take it. Let's take it a step up. And anybody can Google this. It's them churches that Nat Turner and all them people was going to in South Carolina. Them pews. They what did they have on them pews? They wrote in Hebrew.
That's right.
On all in churches. This is something that we did. So to say that it was that far back that we did not know a name, that's too far fetched because it's here in the States.
That's right.
That is written down in Hebrew, languages, names, and everything. It's written down in pews. And these things these artifacts that you can look up, not just something that's made up. You can Google at any time.
I want to read this again too. We read this because you're letting your doctrine dictate your understanding. You have to let the scriptures dictate the understanding. So whatever the scriptures is saying plain, that's what you have to go with. This is the book of Luke, chapter 23 and verse 37. The book of Luke, chapter 23 and verse 37. And saying, if thou be the king of the Jews, going into what? Christ. I'm gonna slow down. This is the book of Luke, chapter 23 and verse 37. And saying, if thou be the king of the Jews, save thyself. And a superscription also was written over him in the letters of Greek. So they had his name what? Written in the Greek, in Latin, and Hebrew. So if that is saying that, that's evidence enough to where brothers could go back to the Hebrew and see that. Right. You can use that. You say it in the Latin for people that speak Latin. So they're not literally saying Jesus in Latin. No. So people that stay, let's say, in France, they're speaking French. So what's the French name for Jesus or Christ? That's the point. Wherever you're at, you can speak that, but it's not a sin against that. That's the point. That's the whole point. So like even like what we say Christ is in there. We say Christ plenty of times. That's right. Jehovah is in there. Jesus in there. Sometimes we may say that, but us coming up and waking back up to who we are, we go back to like we said, the Hebrew. And like we said, it's literally saying that. Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. So out of those 1-3 languages, brothers can say that. You understand that? He was saying it right there. Like it's literally written right there saying it. So I know you're a man, a true believer. What the words say, that's what you stand on. So that's why I'm trying to hold you to the fire on that. So it's literally telling you, like we say, in the Hebrew, in the Latin, and the Greek, this is the king of the Jews. So those were the languages that our people were speaking in. So like I said, as we wake back up, we're coming back to those languages as well.
Genesis 11:1.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the precepts too as well.
Yes. Any brothers, sisters, man, y'all scared man, I'm supposed to ask a question. Brother ain't asking nothing, but one brother is mentioned. Our brother ain't asking no question.
Psalm chapter 56, verse 10. I was trying to see if this is like another one back in the old church where it's saying Christ in the Most High.
Read it right quick.
The book of Psalms, chapter 56, verse 10. In God will I praise his word. In the Lord will I praise his word. So that's not.
Yeah, now even in this context, like we say, now we know that the word is going into there. You can use it in both aspects. You can use it in both aspects.
I was saying like God, you said one, and he said in the Lord.
Yeah. But that Lord right there is all caps. So that's where you have to have this.
It's all caps?
So,
some of mine ain't all caps.
Yeah. So it can go both ways. Okay. I know Brother Ezra was asking, can we briefly go through the lineage of Ham up to today? I get mixed up with First Maccabees when Alexander took over Persian and Medes, I believe. You have to be more specific, because I don't.
Because even when he took over Persian and Medes, they're just going from captivity to captivity. I mean, that didn't have nothing to do with Ham It has something to do with us going into captivity. When Alexander took control of it.
Because we know Ham, when brothers and sisters reading the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, the definition of Ham is going into what? The Libyans, the Canaanites, the who?
Ethiopians.
Egyptians. Those are all African people today. Now, out of those 4 tribes, they spring off into other tribes as well. So you have the Sudanese, they will stem off from ancient Egyptians and so forth. So just a quick little breakdown over that. I know. Yeah, any other questions? Dexter, Isaiah 8:20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, is because there is no light.
No light, huh?
So can y'all
yeah, you answered for I. He said, "Now, yeah, all right, Brother John. Salaki for butchering your name, Brother John from Atlanta. Calling out Brother James, but
can we go to Romans 12 and 21?
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think we mixed that.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12, and verse number 21. Be not overcome of evil, but overcome evil with good.
I mean,
What is good?
man, look at man, go to Sirach 39:24 right there. Read it.
For real, because I mean, is that not plain? I mean, sorry, brother and sister, for real, but some things are plain in the Bible.
I guess is the reason why I retracted that. Read it.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 39 and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked.
So when we read these scriptures, I know brothers and sisters won't get questions and answers. I mean, these things is plain. It's saying, be not overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. I mean, bros, that's kind of plain.
And even to break it down, evil is sin, good is the commandments.
Right.
Keep the commandments, don't sin.
That's it.
No evil for evil. Don't render evil for evil.
That's right.
Somebody do you bad, but you do them good, man.
That's right. That's exactly right. And those are literally scriptures in there. Like we say, you burn coals upon a hot head. It says, sister or brothers that are into it or whatnot, hey, you still show hospitality one to another. And like I said, that's you winning. Because a lot of times, brothers and sisters speaking, you know you got ill will. They looking at you like, what the fuck? Shalom, brother. Shalom. How you doing, man? Keep that thing pushing. That's what we're commanded to do. And that's something that brothers and sisters have to learn. Like I say, don't get in your feelings. Don't get in emotions. Just apply what the scriptures say. Like I say, we'll be better off.
Right.
You got 1:11:10, man.
That's right, man.
Let's get that.
Okay.
No other sister got no question, brothers. Man, keep the question coming, man. If you don't, man, we gonna have to.
That's exactly right, brother. That's
Yeah, read that.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 111 and verse 10.
This is a well-known precept, man. We gotta reiterate this thing and let brothers and sisters know. Like brothers and sisters say, they ask you a question like, "Oh, you think you're better than me? You think you're smarter than me? You think you got more wisdom than me?" But if I look at you, brother, if I look at you,
yeah.
you ain't got no fringes on. You're not keeping these commandments. And the Bible tells me yes, and I am. Right? But I'm gonna have more understanding of the scripture. Right? That's what the Bible tells me. Read it.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 111 and verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
So that's the first thing that starts you on the path of being wise.
That's right.
It's fearing the Most High God that He will come and knock you out your socks. Right? Read on.
A good understanding of all they that do his commandments.
And brother and sister got to get this path. Read that again.
That's right.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
A good understanding of all they that do his commandments.
So you start getting a good understanding of this Bible when you start keeping all the commandments of the Most High God. That's what the scripture is saying. Right? For a brother to come out there to the streets like they always try to do and combat and try to be combative with the scriptures, but they smoking, right? They ain't got the fringes on. They not being a brother to their brothers. They not
Keeping a high holy
They're not
day.
keeping the high holy days. They're not doing none of these things. But they say that they read the Bible and they've been reading the Bible and they got a little knowledge. You got to show me.
That's right.
You got to show me with your actions, because like I can always say, the best way to understand the Bible is what live the life of an Israelite. That's the only way that you can. You have to live the life of an Israelite.
That's right.
That's right.
You can't talk like that. That's going into the Pharisees all day, right?
Yeah, that's going just like you say. If you a doctor, guess what you gonna do? You gonna live a life as a doctor. You're gonna do you're gonna study, you're gonna do everything to become that. That's how you're supposed to be. When you want to understand the Bible, you gotta do everything the Bible say for you to become that. That's how you get a good understanding.
You're not gonna go to truck. You're not gonna want to drive 18 wheeler, start driving minivans up, right? I mean, you just not. You're not gonna be driving a minivan every day, and you gotta go practice for a damn 18 wheeler test, man.
Right.
You go what? Start driving an 18 wheeler. So we gotta understand, man. This is an old scripture. I mean, not old, but it's very
Heavy
scripture, but it's well known, man. This is one of the first scriptures I learned coming into the truth, man. We have to get this down pat. Commandments is your wisdom.
That's right. That's how you get a good understanding of, like we said, we have to emphasize this. Negroes and niggettes will say, no, forget that. I know the Bible.
Yeah, that's saying it all day.
Brother, you've been keeping the commandments. No, but still, brother, I am not trying to hear you. If you're not keeping it, the scripture is literally saying what they say. The only way to understand the Bible is keeping the commandments. That's the only way. No ifs and buts about it.
That's right, man.
This is Sirach chapter 21 and verse 11.
Yeah,
A precept.
Precept.
He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof. So if you're not keeping God's commandments, you won't have the understanding.
I'll tell you.
You won't have the No, nigga,
But
you wrong.
I went to the university.
No, you ain't went to no damn universities. You have to be keeping the commandments. He that keepeth the law of the Lord getteth the understanding thereof. And the perfection of the fear of the Lord is wisdom. Meaning what? Practicing a righteous rehearsal. You're practicing fearing the Most High God. When you fear God, you do what it says in the Bible. Go ahead,
Y'all
University. This is Brother Yaakov, Shalom Leadership. Can y'all break down Matthew 5 and 17 through 19? No law done away with, besides sacrificial law. That's a good question, because we know Christians all the time to justify them not keeping God's commandments. They always trying to find a loophole, always trying to find an excuse not to keep God's commandments. No, that is not what they're saying. All brothers and sisters have to do is just read on down a little bit. You get to read that out.
This is book of Matthew chapter 5 and 17, right?
Yeah.
In verse number 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophet.
Read that part again.
Think not.
Read it again.
Think not.
Saying don't even put it in your head. Don't even think about thinking that I did away with the commandment. They read right over it. That's a cut even right there within itself. Don't put it in your damn mind. Read on.
Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Mm-hmm.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
And that's where precepts play a good part. He came to fulfill the prophecies that was written of him, because he literally just said, think not that I've come to do away with the law. Christ is not a schizophrenic, man. He's not going to say something and then go back on his word. He's not a hypocrite.
That's right.
That's exactly right. He's literally telling you could just literally read it through, but no. They already got a preconceived notion about certain scriptures anyway. And they're not letting the scriptures dictate their doctrine. Read on up.
Verse 18. But barely I say unto you, to heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
And that's the second cut. We still on the planet Earth. We still looking up at heaven. Negroes, the laws ain't done away with. I mean, that's plain.
Even when go to Luke 16 right quick and then we go back. Yes. Because the brothers got to have them precepts down the side.
Right.
This explains, this how you go precept upon precept.
The book of St. Luke, chapter 16 and verse 17. And it is easier for heaven and earth to pass than one tittle of the law to fail.
Amen. It's scripture say what they say, man. The Lord said it's easier for heaven and earth to pass away than for his word to fail, man. And that's it.
Now you can't help for real. That don't match up with what the Christians think.
That's right.
That don't match up at all.
This all don't match up.
Brother, we can eat pork. No, sister, it's literally telling you in Leviticus that law is not done away with. Christ didn't nail it to the cross when he was died. So you mean to tell me Christ went through all that suffering so your black behind could keep sinning
They make excuses.
when he kept the law? I mean, it makes no sense.
Hey.
Junior, y'all go around.
You wild for them.
We got you. Talking about, man.
Teaching, boy.
Look, man. All that way right there.
Yeah, for reform one.
That's right. Keep going up.
Verse 19.
Yeah.
Verse number 19. Well, I don't think it's 18. I'm at 3:18. But verily I say unto you, to heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled.
Read on up.
Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
A third, because he's literally telling you if you break these least commandments, wearing your fringes, not growing your beard, eating pork, celebrating things you ain't supposed to celebrate. Those are least commandments. He's literally breaking it down even more. Read on up.
And shall teach men so.
And teach men so by what? Telling them they ain't got to keep the commandments and showing them. You teach two ways. Word of mouth and by your action. When you're not doing the commandments, that teaches other people, well, I ain't got to do it. That's teaching men two ways. Read on.
He should be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
And they saying, okay, well, I'll be the least. I ain't got to do it. I ain't going to do it. Let's keep reading. All you have to just keep reading. Read on.
But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Meaning, because what? All of us going to be great in the kingdom, man. That's the point. Read on.
The point.
For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees.
Because teachers that was what? Telling people to keep the law, but they themselves weren't keeping it. Our righteousness has to exceed that. Read on up.
Ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven.
And that's giving you your answer. If you break one of the least ones, you're not going to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Sisters wearing dresses, brothers wearing what? Pants, beards, and so forth. Go ahead, up.
And this goes into what Ak is touching on, Matthew chapter 23, right quick. Because like I said, this Matthew chapter 23 and verse 2. And this touches, it says, except you seek the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, what is that going into? Right? This explains it, right? Because the Pharisees, they kept the commandment, scribes, they kept the commandment, but you got to exceed the righteousness of it. So what is this saying? Read it out.
This is the book of Matthew chapter 23 and verse 2. Saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
They the roof, they the leadership, man. These are the people, guess what? These are the people, not just in rulership, these are people with the understanding of the Bible, right? People that's supposed to be keeping the commandments, right? Read.
All therefore, whatsoever they bid you, observe.
So whatever they tell you, observe it, right?
That observe and do.
And he said, not just observe it, do it, right? Read.
But do not ye after their works.
But don't do after their works, read.
For they say and do not.
Because they say, they teach the word and they teach the law, but they don't do it, right? That's why the Lord said our righteousness got to exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, because guess what? They was teaching the law. They were telling everybody to keep the law, but they wasn't doing the law, right?
And as much as Christians say that they know the New Testament, how in the hell can everything be fulfilled now?
That's right.
It doesn't make no sense. You got the book of Revelation where, man, things surely must come to pass.
Right.
Can I say something?
That have not came to pass. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I mean, you just read that scripture and it still got in my mind, and then the other scripture still got in my mind. It was the Pharisees who was the one enlarging the borders on their garments.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Do you know what that means? That's being over righteous.
That's right.
Yeah, but at the same time, and also saying that they put more emphasis on the fringes than actually doing the commandments.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's the point in going into over righteous. They were strained at a gnat.
That's right.
Say, you blind guy, you strained at a gnat and swallow a camel.
That's right.
It's saying that You so worried at this one part, you miss everything else.
That's right.
And that's what a lot of people do. And guess what? You know what that's basically going into? A reprobated mind.
Right.
That because if you see anybody that, well, say for instance, a person when they leave the truth, it's one thing that they stick on, and they never leave it.
Right.
It'd be one thing. Just like, guess what? They have a problem with Christ, and everything that they teach is going against Christ. They have a problem with Capt. Now everything they teach is going against Capt. They can't. Well, brother, teach about something else. He'll teach about one thing, go right back to the same subject because he can't get off of it. That's a reprobated mind. That's why the Lord said they strain at a net and they swallow the camel, man. They miss all of this. For the little least commandments, I'm not wearing sweat. You're not wearing my fringes. I can't. They strain at that.
That's right.
Right? For the smallest thing, they strain it, but for the biggest thing, guess what, man? They don't get it. Right. So this is the reason why, like you say, they did with their garments. Guess what? Because they was worried about their garments. They was worried about this. They was worried about that.
They was worried about where they sit at.
Yeah, that's right.
They worried about sitting in the front.
Being leaders and not really being a leader.
That's right.
That's right. Because they ain't saying that you couldn't do it, but that shouldn't be your whole walk. Because fringes is part of the commandments. The Lord said we got to do that.
Right.
So
Part of the commandments, they was to remind you to keep the commandments. So they
It was a commandment.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
a commandment.
It is a commandment.
Okay.
First 5 books of the law are commandments.
So if he say this is the commandment, now I want you to put these on to remind you to keep the commandment. How is that?
Because I'm I'm commanding you to put fringes on it so you can remember to do these.
A bid is a command.
Bid means to command.
That's right. Just like you telling your son, look, I'm telling you to get up and do this.
Well, Daddy, you didn't say it was a command.
No, but I'm telling you. Right?
That's the same thing.
And do
Like we said, this is going into our wardrobe laws, basically. The different sets of laws. Sisters are commanded to wear dresses. Brothers are commanded to wear pants. We're commanded to put fringes on our wardrobes. This is going into how we are separated as a nation of people. And it's also for a reminder. It goes both. I know a lot of times we may look at it as one thing, but it goes both ways. Go ahead, No.
Like you tell your son, yeah, watch this. He said, well, that ain't no commandment. You say, well, all right, let me come back and the damn this and that. All right. That's right. Yeah, let me come back and then I watch. You're not quiet from that. Right. See what the Most High saying. I commanded you to wear the fringes, but let me come back and y'all ain't got on y'all attire.
That's right, because if he telling us to do the least, this is just the least thing for us to do. That's why he said it's not grievous.
But he said he's the one who took us out of the fringes.
When?
No, yeah, they never took us out.
When he take us out of fringes?
When he gave you a new master. When he turned you over to your slave master.
Who? I mean.
So.
No, that's why Esau gonna get their butts reprimanded for that. But they brought us over here naked to make us forget our heritage, right?
Yeah.
But before that, you see pictures and pictorials of us wearing our fringes.
2 Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14. This is the reason why we going back into what we. This is the whole reason why I was saying that we going back to what we know now.
That's right.
Right. 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse 14. Now, listen to what was being said on this, man. Right.
This is book of 2 Chronicles chapter 7 and verse number 14. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face.
Okay, hold on. And that's another thing. It said, my people, which are called by my name. So is our name Jesus?
Israel is also God.
God, that's right. So guess what? Instead of using your house, why would we use Israel? Well, so instead of using Jesus, why don't we use Israel? So the Lord said, call by my name. He put his name. He put his laws into us, right? So it said, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves, read.
If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray,
read.
And seek my face.
And seek my face, read.
And turn from their wicked ways. Then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land.
So guess what? Where we at right now, we got to turn back to the Most High God. We got to pray, humble ourselves, going back and to keep God's commandment, then the Lord gonna heal our land and set us back where we belong.
That's right.
Right? This is something that we got to do this here.
That's right. And I want to get another precept.
Right.
1 Kings chapter 8, verse 47. This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 47. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves
Saying the same thing.
in the land whether they were carried captive. So we over in captivity, but we're commanded to remember who we are. That's what the word bethink means. 1 Kings 8 and 47. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves in the land whether they were carried captive and repent. Even like what I went into on the class, we weren't brought over here in America to live a good life. We was brought over here to repent and to keep God's commandments. It says, and repent and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captive.
That's the point, man.
Saying, we have sinned and have done perversely. We have committed wickedness. So we were brought over here in this captivity to practice what? Wearing fringes, growing our beards, not eating pork. With all these different things, with all these wicked spirits that's out there telling us to go otherwise. That's really showing that you really want the kingdom. When you're able to fight through all these temptations that's over. You got gay stuff all on the news constantly. Interracial marriage constantly. Pork in everything. Hatred for brothers and sisters. Verse 48. I hate that damn show sometimes. Because it always just show our people like what we do, killing one another. That's right. So, if brothers and sisters can keep this over here in captivity, well, you know damn well you can keep that mother over there in Israel, boy.
Go Deuteronomy 82. This game is all about remembering, man. We thinking ourselves going back to our custom of who we were. We got to go back completely and fully to who we were.
That's right.
Not partially, but fully. Read that out.
This is book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8 and verse 2. And thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness.
Now, we went into the wilderness, why?
To humble thee.
To humble ourselves because of our disobedience, man. To humble us. The most I did is to humble us. To see it, let's just read it.
To humble thee and to prove thee. To know what was in their heart.
Whether what?
Whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no.
Oh, that's what it's about, man.
Right, man.
Most I got us in America right now going through these captivities to see if we're going to go back to who we were or no. And so, straight up. Either you go back to you being what? That wise and understanding nation of people in Deuteronomy chapter 4 by keeping the law, all the law, or no. That's why he took us in the wilderness to purge us off. Purged off that older group of people that did not want to hear into them older, purged off them older group of people that did not want to adhere to his ways, and put us in that wilderness 40 years to grow up a new generation of people that was gonna come in and keep the commandments.
I know. This is the sister awakening daughter of Sarah. She says, may I get a better understanding of multiple wives' teachings? Scriptures I have read don't seem to add up, but I hear different from some camp teachings. Now, you're going to hear that too, sis. Now, the scriptures are plain. Yes, brothers can have multiple wives, but like how we teach brothers here in the battle axes.
You say it's not expedient.
It's not expedient, meaning it's not the right time to do. Let's get the precept showing that you can.
Exodus chapter 21.
That hit right there.
Verse 10.
Exodus chapter 21 and verse number 10.
And we'll go into why we don't really subscribe for brothers to do that right now too. So read that.
If he take him another wife,
That means you already got a wife and you go and get another.
her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
Did y'all get that, brother? Her food, her raiment, and her duties of marriage. Well, when she got her own money, it said what you supposed to do.
Right.
It didn't say what her money looked like. It didn't say none of it. It said her food, her raiment, right? And her duties of marriage. And it goes in, guess what? not to have a threesome or a menage a trois, whatever people want to do. No. Her food, her raiment, guess what? Guess what? And her duties of marriage. If she want it, guess what? She can get it. She want it, she can get it. You can't. Hey, it is what it is.
That's right. And teaching them.
You can't deprive one to another. And guess what? And like I say, it goes into also, you got to teach her. You got to teach her. You got to get this house in order. You got to get this house in order, man.
On top of you getting yourself in order, on top of you trying to go out here and put this work in for the Most High God. This is the reason why we don't consider it right now.
That's right.
But there's so much work to be done. The harvest is full, man.
That's right.
But there's few laborers out here, man.
What's the one do the one?
Some full harvest out here. Work that need to be done.
Read it out,
Because jail for polygamy, right?
huh?
Yeah, in certain states. And brothers have to be careful about that as well.
That's right.
We have to be careful. We know it's only legal in Utah. You know, so that's another point. You know.
Verse number 11.
Uh-huh.
And if he do not these 3 unto her,
If you don't do those 3 unto her, read.
then shall she go out free without money.
And scripture say what they say. That's right. So when brothers can't provide, guess what? That's why. Guess what? So when a brother doing it, and you get multiple wives, and you can't keep that up, guess what you're doing to the sister? You cause the sister to err. You putting sisters to sin, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy.
Yeah, 22.
It's 22. Like 21, I think. I'm trying to remember. 21, 15.
Oh yeah, 15.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse number 15.
So these is rules pertaining to having multiple wives. You know, read.
If a man have 2 wives, one beloved and another hated, and they have borne him children, both the beloved and the hated, and if the firstborn son be hers that was hated,
Mm-hmm.
then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he had, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn.
So guess what? Whoever the firstborn child, we don't care if you got two wives. Whoever had the child first, that's the one that's supposed to get the inheritance. Right?
Let's get another one real quick.
So
you notice it's what permittable because you have laws on it.
Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 17. So these are precepts, sisters, for multiple wives. Yes, it is. We'll get another one real quick.
17.
Yeah.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17 and verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives unto himself, that his heart turn not away.
Now, a lot of times Christians misread that. It says, neither shall he multiply wives to himself, that his heart turn away. Meaning what?
That's his reason.
That's his reason. Meaning what? Multiple wives can cause a brother to go off.
You can't.
So that's exactly right. It can cause you to go off. So if you're not on a good foundation, you damn sure shouldn't do it. This is only for the strong, man. That thing ain't for the weak, man. Have sisters up in there like a pack of lions on your behind, man. Be calling brothers, they on it. Hey, brother, they gonna stay on it. Click. Brothers will be over there, man. You know we just playing, but hey, brothers have to be on a good foundation so it don't turn you away from the Most High God and from doing His work. That's the ultimate thing.
Right, brothers be on there 20 minutes later.
Yeah, for real. Let me get some bees.
Put some D's on his head first.
Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23.
3 words.
Yeah, man. I told you.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 23. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not expedient.
And that's the point. It's lawful, but it's not expedient. Meaning what it's not the right time to do for brothers, man. Especially if brothers are new in the truth. You look like it. Oh, come on, brother. And you don't know basic commandments and so forth. I mean, that lets you know you're not trying to teach them, man. You're just trying to screw them. You know, a lot of times, man. So, hey, it's a lot of work that comes with this, man. Read on.
All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not.
And a lot of times, hey, you showing the brother, and that may not be edifying to that brother. You
That's
seeing
right.
the brother not how to handle that thing according to the scriptures, man. That can cause brothers and sisters to go off.
That's
Man.
right. That's a great point. Right there, too.
What do you say? So, because this is the reason why brothers and sisters can get. This is the reason why, like, you taking on multiple wives, her raiment, her food, and all of that. Go 1 Corinthians 7, right quick. Her raiment, her food, and her duties of marriage. When you're not fulfilling those things, she can leave out without money. But this is why you can get sisters into sin, man. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 39.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, and verse 39. The wife is bound by the law as long as her husband liveth. But if her husband be dead, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, only in the Lord.
Only in the Lord, right? So guess what? You can get sisters in sin, man. Because she had a husband and then she was bound to. Now all of a sudden, now you commit fornication with her. You're supposed to take the duty on, not just as a husband, but you're supposed to take the duty on as the same duty that a father had and providing and protecting her. Guess what? The same duty that the husband has to protect his wife the same way. Because we know that in what chapter? Numbers what? Chapter 30 tells us about how a woman can leave her father's house and go to her husband, and the husband takes the duty over to as a father. Right? Jump up to verse 29 now.
Verse number 20, the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, and verse 29. But this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they had none.
So, like you say the time is short, man.
That's right.
So, guess what, man? That means you got to put the work over everything right now, man. So, this is why we come out and do the work that we do, man. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for tuning in, man. Like and share the video. Help us push this truth around the four corners of the earth. We say keep God's law, statutes, and commandments, man. Let's read us a law, man.
Sex is the completion of marriage, sis. You know, we know some brothers do this, the completion.
Not to jump out.
Yeah, not the for real, exactly.
It's not no, he didn't quit.
Sister Odetta, read Sirach chapter 2. Sirach chapter 2 is a good chapter for brothers and sisters that are depressed and of a lonely spirit. It's an ultimate pick-me-up chapter.
Let's read the precept, man. Numbers chapter 27, verse 16, man. That's a law.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 27, and verse number 16. Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation.
So guess what, man? If you seeing a woman over a congregation, that's off, man.
That's right.
He said, let the God of all spirit and flesh, guess what? You're going to set a man over the congregation. And with that, say shalom.
Shalom. Captain Jerubbaal got